or like a poster, like a digital poster for something that they want to talk about, that would be a tool that would be really great for them to use. Are there questions on using the Google tools for collaboration? All right. So the last thing we kind of wanted to just touch on was, again, we mentioned AppSmashing. Basically, that means that you're using 2 different programs at the same time to come up with the final product. We don't recommend doing both if they're both new programs. Don't do them both new programs at the same time. Teach one program, have your kids get comfortable, let yourself get comfortable with it. Once that's, they've got that, then you can bring in the second component. So a simple way would be to use Zoom and a Google tool. That's an AppSmash, right? So because they're using that face-to-face discussion along with something that they're creating. Maybe you want to do something like which one doesn't belong, but you want to start it off as like something like with Seesaw. So you push out the graphic on Seesaw, and kids would then respond with which one they think doesn't belong. And that's all they say, right? They choose theirs and they submit their reasoning. But then you as a teacher would know which one each kid has chosen. So then maybe when you come in for your morning meeting the next day, you could then assign those kids to those 4 breakout rooms. They could talk with their group and come back and share. So again, you're using Seesaw and Zoom. So you're bringing 2 together. You could get really fancy and start with Flipgrid, right? And do those 4 different topics we talked about. So maybe you want to, you have a science standard and you kind of have 4 different areas. So maybe you want to study extreme weather. So you have, maybe you want to learn about tornadoes. You could respond on this topic. If you want to talk about hurricanes, you can talk over here. If you want to talk about drought, you can go here, and kids could choose which one they would want to kind of discuss. From there, you would start to get your natural discussions and maybe start to see groups start to naturally form. Then you could maybe bring that into Zoom where kids could have breakout rooms and maybe start to choose where they're going to focus on that, and you'll get your groups. And then finally from that, they might create a finished product where they're going to teach the rest of the class about this, extreme weather. So maybe they use a video or they use a Google tool to create something in order to teach the rest of their peers about the extreme weather. So you're bringing different programs in together. So that's kind of, where you can start to go, or maybe it leads into more of a project-based learning or design thinking challenge. And again, we're talking like a month from now. Like, don't think this is going to happen tomorrow or next week. Like in a month, you might be able to start getting into these more intense, like, bigger projects, but just things to start thinking about in the back of your brain, like where you might want to go with some of these tools, right? Between now and June. Questions, comments?
I can share the resource doc that you're going to send out. I realized too, we could link in the intro to Flipgrid, the intro to Zoom on that doc where it currently isn't. That would help. Yeah. Katie?
So it did, and I'm sorry if you've sent this information out. Are you going to do this every Tuesday, Thursday? Or is this a random thing? Or, I'm just wondering, we got to do all this PD, and I'm trying to find this is my challenge. I have my niece I'm teaching her to make a quilt, and she's teaching me the whole tech side. So do you guys have a plan for different topics, or?
Yes and no.
Okay.
We're kind of like about a week out on topics. So right now it's mostly driven by us. It's what we were thinking, hey, these are tools people probably need to know. What we're hoping is going to happen is as you guys get your feet wet and you really start to see what your needs are. So like you start to think, I really want to do this with my kids, but I'm not sure how. We're hoping to start hearing from teachers, like what you want to start learning how to do, or things that you'd like maybe to, like, you hear about a tool, but you want a tutorial on it. So we're starting to hope. So you'll notice when I send my email out now, there's always a link to a Google form asking you to please tell us what you want to learn about. And we're going to start having admin hopefully push out too, because we want to do these to support what you guys want to learn.
And the focus is tech.
Doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be
about the TKK job.
Yeah. So it's right now it's tech, because that's kind of what I think is at the forefront of everyone's mind, right? Is just how do I get what I did in person to be distance? But once you have those basics down, so once you have your seesaw down and right things like that, we can go more pedagogy. We can go more, again, wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we just figured this was the immediate need.
When do you guys send out that, whatever you call it?
We try to be a week in advance. So we're sending out next week's flyers should be going out today, and all the resources should be going out today.
Okay.
So we try to be a week in advance, but if we have future webinars planned past that, then we'll send it out even earlier.
And 1 o'clock tends to be our time. So if that isn't working at all, we're
That's
open
fine.
to feedback. But yeah, 1 o'clock tends to be our time. And we have been avoiding Wednesdays because we think there's still meetings happening on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So next week it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday with 3 different topics.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Just remember to keep breathing. Start small. Right now, more than anything, just connect with your kids. You know, just that human connection. That's the part that's important right now. All the other stuff will come.
Yes. Thank
Great.
you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Have a good
Thanks for
afternoon.
joining us.